Hi everyone, Nathan here with ATC Cooling and Heating, and today we're going to take a look at and figure out how to use the Mitsubishi SG20A remote control, which looks like this. This remote comes with the high-end Mitsubishi units, including the popular MSZ FS-Series and 6,000, 9,000, 12,000, 15, and 18,000 BTUs, the sidewall units, and some others too. Now, we're going to zoom in on this thing and go through the many buttons that it has. You see it's simple? Oh no, there are many buttons. And to prepare for this video, I spent hours with the Mitsubishi manual, which looks like this. First and foremost is the on and off button that you see here in orange. That of course turns the unit on and off. And then you get the temperature down and up buttons here. And when you close this cover, those are the only buttons that show. Next, let's tackle the mode button, which you see right here. When you go through the mode, it cycles from heat, fan, auto, cool, and dry. Now the heat and the cool modes are just what they say. The fan mode only runs the fan. There's no heating and no cooling. The dry mode is interesting. It focuses on reducing humidity in the room, and it may end up overcooling the room in its attempt to get the most humidity out. Now you can't set the temperature, it's not even on the screen, in this mode, which I think makes that one not so useful. The auto mode is a great mode because it switches back and forth between heating and cooling as needed, but it waits for the temperature to be 4 degrees off before switching modes. For example, assume you have the temperature set to 72 and the unit is in cooling, it'll cool the temperature down to 72 degrees, but not switch over to heat until the temperature further falls 4 degrees down to 68. Also important, if you have an MXZ outdoor unit, which is an outdoor unit that connects to multiple indoor units, you may want to use simply heat or cool. In auto mode, the system must wait for all of the indoor units to need heat to switch from cooling and vice versa too. And that means it can get stuck waiting for everything to switch over. Next, let's look at the fan button. This one goes from quiet, which looks like a little person that you see here, to low, medium, high, super high, and eventually back to auto. And that squiggle that you see there for auto, that will show up in a bunch of the other modes too. That's their Mitsubishi symbol for automatic. The next buttons control where the unit directs air. This wide vane button that you see right here directs air left to right, and when you cycle through that, you get all the way left, medium, medium, further to the right, all the way to the right, and back to all the way for full airflow. The L vane R button, you see these ones here? Those buttons direct airflow up and down. Again, the squiggle, when you cycle through that and end up with the squiggle, that means automatic. And since you have the FS series, you can direct airflow up and down from either side of the unit, left and right, because the vanes are split on your unit. Now let's look at the buttons down the left side of the remote. And in that side you have EconoCool, Powerful, Smart Set, and Natural Flow. EconoCool is a cooling mode that uses airflow rather than lower temperatures in an attempt to make you feel cool. Powerful is actually a pretty cool one. Powerful sets the unit to go to maximum heating or maximum cooling for a 15-minute period, and then afterwards it reverts to wherever it started at. So if you walk into the room and it's uncomfortably cool or hot and you want the unit to do its best to change that, Powerful mode is a good one. Smart Set, you see right here? Smart Set reverts to a preset temperature and fan setting, and you're supposed to be able to hold down the button in heat or cool mode to set that preset. Natural Flow, you see down here, it kind of sounds like something you should see your doctor over, but really this mode tries to make the airflow seem like a natural breeze that comes and goes rather than blowing air directly on you. Next is a super secret mode. This is the IC control mode, and it's a function that watches people in the room with a small sensor that's located on the right-hand side of the wall-mounted unit. Kind of looks like the Eye of Mordor. It swings back and forth watching you. The sensor button that you see way down here cycles through and selects the IC control mode and also absence detection. I'm going to hit that button for you and you can see what happens up here in that little screen. First press and the IC control mode is on. Next press and absence detection is on as well. And then it turns both of those off. We're going to go back to IC mode that you see right here. At that point, you also get to select indirect or direct. When I press that button, you see the symbol right here changes and it tries to blow air away from the person or toward the person, or it doesn't matter, blow it back and forth. Absence detection is a system that tries to determine if there's no one in the room, and when the system determines that there's no one there, it actually changes the temperature back to a preset number, a few degrees warmer or cooler, when no one is nearby. Of course, when somebody re-enters the room, it reverts to whatever cooling or heating mode that you had set before. Now for the timer. In order to use the timer function on the Mitsubishi remote, you have to first set the clock. You set the clock by pressing this little button down here for clock. When you press that, it starts to blink. You can change the day. Today is Friday. You can change the time up and down with the time button. When you get that where you want it to be, press the clock button again, and that sets the time. Now you can use the timer. There's two separate timers on Mitsubishi system. First is a simple on and off timer, and that you see right here. When you press the on button, you can say that it's going to come on at 7 a.m. You can change that, of course. When you press the off button, you can see that it's going to go off at 10:30 p.m. or whatever time you select. And that's just on and off. The system turns itself on and it turns itself off. If you don't want it to do that, turn those off. If all that wasn't enough, there is more. There's actually a weekly timer that lets you set 4 separate periods for each day. To get to that mode, you press this Edit Send button right here. And I'll show you how to do that. We'll pick one of these periods and we'll change it. You can select the day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through the week. Or if you keep going, it cycles and it gives you all the days at once. You can set them all at once. But let's set a Tuesday period. And then this button over here moves back and forth for the number of the presets. Let's set period number 2. You can select the time with the time button. You can select the temperature with the temperature button. When you have all of the days set up, and you can do them all at once, when you're done with them all, you press this set button again, and then be patient. It takes a moment for it to think about it. And then you have selected and saved your weekly timer. To turn the weekly timer on and off, use this button over here, and you can see which days I've set on it right now. Now, if all of that is too much, and it can be, you could spend several minutes setting up all of those timers. But if all of that's too much, Mitsubishi makes an optional Wi-Fi module called Kumo Cloud that allows you to connect each indoor unit, to an app on your smartphone, which makes it a lot easier to set up. But that's for a different video. So there you have it, all about the Mitsubishi remote control for the FS series of units. If you have any questions about Mitsubishi, mini splits, or really anything HVAC, check us out at atcservice.com. Thanks for watching.